yesterday, bit of a rough day. Look for him to have a lot more impact on a hero that doesn't need as much time as like these Beastmasters and Doom to come online. He'll be level 6, and he's able to kill anyone he wants on the side of EHOME.
But at the same time, like, you go up against the 3-position Darkseer. Tiny and Darkseer are going to do their normal creep skip on bottom. Hey, this time S4 is not going to burn his TP. He's actually going to walk the lane, in fact, clogging him up. But this kind of helps EHOME, because the creeps will remain exactly where they are, so they will burn out before they even reach the tower. And Clockwork's not great at sitting underneath this tower. In fact, even with the Iron Shells, they can just keep walking next to S4. Cause them some problems, but keep your eyes on the other lanes too. It's an aggressive try-and lane from EG on top.
I would say this lane setup favors EG. You're going to be shutting down the Tinker, and Terrorblade's going to have a couple of free waves. Expect the Tusk to or the Tiny to rotate towards top. However, bottom lane, yeah, you can pressure a Clock, but I would argue that S4 is going to use that net worth advantage a lot better, just because you just need a couple of core items. You hit level 6, and now you're a force on the map. That Leshrac mid, the Tinker top, S4 can go wherever he wants. Darkseer, not that same type of hero. He's more about slow and steady pressure. He needs his allies to help him make plays.
Yep. But he's just going into the jungle for the moment. They blocked up the camp he wants to pull to and free farm up, but we're watching Faith Beyond getting a double stack of the creeps. Not something he can easily farm by himself, but is giving this 1v1 matchup of Tiny versus the Clockwork, which is another fun matchup. Let's make it a triple stack, because 1 and 2 is not enough, but up on top lane, Innocence being forced back through the tree line. He'll go for a return dual breath on crit and fly, but Ego, he's still only a level 1 Tinker, not a lot of burst damage to arrive from him, but Innocence is creating the space against Fly.
Yeah, so this is a cool trade. EHOME is saying, like, the Tiny stays bottom to prevent S4 from pulling waves to that hard camp, which would slow down, it slows down his acceleration. But what you're doing is also then sacking your top lane. You actually move the Tinker towards bottom, but this is a level 3 Clockwork already. Really curious movement from EHOME.
Yeah, and even Faith Beyond, his timing in the mid lane was a little bit wrong. He dragged 2 of the creeps back. I don't know if he's trying to mess with Sumail, but thanks to the 2 observer wards that were placed down by EG, they see any kind of movement off the bottom lane into mid. And now as a tri-lane on bottom, man, S4, he's going to start this game the way he started the series yesterday, being hunted down by the opposition. But the Cogs, this is why Clockwork's so damn good. He creates such space, and they just walk it off. Tusker, as well as Phoenix, have already rotated to bottom lane. So if EHOME force the issue, they could pay for it.
This is something a lot of teams have been theory crafting. You know, what offlaner can go to a safe lane into this disadvantageous 2-on-1 and 3-on-1 matchup and
jump forward, the ice path from Innocence catching out to Ego. Well, toss him back, and this is where EHOME can win the positional battle at least.
I gotta feel like this favors EG. Like, top now, you have a free farm Terrorblade, and Faith Beyond still with shenanigans.
They're going in after Ego. They know that Tinker can't move away, but that's why Jakiro is there. Ice Path, that's his last ability he can cast. There's no mana left for anything else. But this free farming Terrorblade, you got him, but again, you're seeing Faith Beyond doing his little pull through. He's grabbing the creep wave and causing more problems. And then they just let the mid matchup to go, which is 18-1 to the 22-4. That's a pretty close lane for the mid, because no one else can influence it. They're all too busy fighting on the side lanes.
This is one thing, regardless of meta, I think that a lot of viewers, fans, and probably IceFrog are content with the state of the game, where mid is now that pure 1v1 most of the time. Yep. It just feels like Dota games are better when the mid players have this opportunity to really strut their stuff. Not that, remember when there were just 3 heroes mid the whole game?
I remember when Lich Sacrifice was a thing. Oh, they've sacrificed the creep. The mid lane's already completely imbalanced now.
Yeah, this is a bit weird from EHOME, though, because they're the ones on the clock. Like, they don't actually have any sort of right-click carry.
Wow, Faith Beyond. I love this from him. He plays Darkseer the way Universe used to play Darkseer. Like, obviously, without the creep skipping kind of thing, but aggressive up in the face and actually go for the kills. Doesn't matter if you're alone. He'll take a 1v1 against a Terrorblade, who, even though he's got Metamorphosis, doesn't have Sunder. There's pressure that can be applied. Clockwork on bottom lane. They're looking for a kill onto Innocence, trapping him inside the cogs, but with the support of Ego, it won't come to anything.
Ego's, however, level 2, and EG may look to dive here. You don't have Battery Assault for a few moments, so he should be, he'll be fine. He's actually just going to pull the creeps behind tower.
That's even perfect for Jakiro to back off. He's going to stack, and this way is solo experience for the Tinker.
Exactly. Tinker needs his XP. This is the hero that's got a snowball. Both Lesh and Tinker, they love having this nice start XP dependent heroes more so than gold. And whenever you can get free waves like that when you're behind.
Faith Beyond with the confidence underneath a Metamorphosis Terrorblade stands his ground. So EHOME will claim 3 of the 5-minute bounty runes.
The Fly places a nice word on mid, so they will notice ASD running towards that top shrine. Good efficiency as Faith Beyond's also farming up some jungle camps. They'll both utilize that.
I like that little tip from ASD. It's like, hey Samael, like I appreciate everything you do. Later on I'll cross you.
But for
bottom
now,
lane, you've actually got Tusker starting initiation. Jakiro arrives, double ice pass. They're fighting inside the March. The machines is not good for EG because there's more support arriving. It's Tiny, him through the rear, tossing back S4. This should be the first blood. Close creates space, but ASD arrives. It'll connect with the lightning. Tiny's not done just yet. The Avalanche trying to buy some time for the ice path to connect. EHOME with 4 heroes on the bottom lane. Claim 2 kills to open up day 2 of the main event.
Yep, I love the way Innocence, or well, Y plays his Jakiro. You see a lot of the time, pubs, inexperienced players, they prioritize the liquid fire, but both of Jakiro's active abilities are so strong. That level 1 ice path, the range, that just 1 second little interrupt disable, that's what actually secures the kill. And he's going to be a force in this game. The support Jakiro, you don't even need that many levels, and your Q does 400 damage, 5 seconds slow, attack speed slow, very good against heroes like OD Terrorblade.
It's a great synergy with the rest of EHOME, and that's able to buy more space. See a new record up for Faith Beyond. No surprise there. Vanguard rush at 6.5 minutes in, and they do little to no damage to that Darkseer, but he does have mana problems when he does this. There's no soul ring on this Darkseer just yet. And
what was surprising to me is that the OD was untouched. Like, it's the, what, 4th game in a row now over 2 days? Sumel's playing OD. 5th, actually. He played it in their last match against Thunder Predator, too, and they just give it to him. And yeah, the Tinker is a suitable counter.
Yeah.
The Leshrac last pick is just very surprising to me. We'll probably be breaking that down whether EHOME win or lose this game, because it was a ballsy move.
It's the way you look at it, right? It's EHOME going, okay, we know what EG is going to pick up. At least we can try and counter against that. The heroes don't have to be obvious, but as long as they got a game plan.
So far, it's working out. You got Faith Beyond with a great start. My concern is just Ego's Tinker. Yep. I have not seen a side lane Tinker in like years.
It's like he's just playing catch up, which the Tinker can do if he's able to farm up some stacks, and they do have 2 stacks in 2 different camps along the bottom.
Concern, though, because now you have Smoke and a level 6 clock. This Tinker is food if he gets caught out.
They're wrapping around the back, looking for the Tinker. Level 6 clock, as you said, going to look for the hook in, waits for it. Ego jukes it up, and they turn their attention over towards Innocence. He's looking to get the ice path off, but just so heavily interrupted. They're tossing and throwing around S4 with the March machines creating space. And EG, they got a kill, but it's not the one they wanted, but it still puts them on the board.
And that right there is why Clock is such a good hero in this game. Multiple heroes are unable to get any spells off. Jakiro, notably, as you can see, if you're tanking a battery to the face, you cannot cast abilities.
Great scout out. Tiny seeing the clockwork, as well as Tusker moving into the mid lane. They were looking for the hook shot onto Leshrac.
Yep.
They also have the Observer and Sentry on the bottom lane that watches that movement out too. It's difficult for EG to make the most of this clockwork, but isn't this what's meant to happen? Like, clockwork rotates and you find kill after kill.
Yep, I mean, it's easy, and there isn't the same pressure you would typically see on clock picks where, you know, it kind of all ends your early game. In this scenario, EG, they're confident. Phoenix scales so well, the Tusk save, OD, Terrorblade, like, you have no qualms about bringing this game to the 30-40 minute mark. Clock is perfect, and again, you can hunt everything on the enemy side. It's the dream game for S4.
Thinking about going for the Tiny. The stacking still continues for the Tinker, so he's looking for his farm there, while Tiny just contests the Radiant stack. But this is going to be big now for Ego. The fact that the Smoke Gang failed, there was no aggressive vision that went down. He needs this money, but he can't layer on double March machines until now. Soul Ring arrives, rearm is up. Now he can finally get the money and the levels. And I guess he's getting a lot more space in mid than I thought he would.
It's partly because Sumel, he's like felt the pressure. A lot of heroes been missing, so he's just farming the jungle. Already has the treads up. He'll be going for that Yasha Kaya build again. I like that a lot more than the Midas. He's actually talking to him about that, and I think that this is the way to build OD, and he's kind of demonstrating, yeah, he thinks so too.
But it does mean that you get a net worth advantage. Just slipping the way of the Leshrac, sitting at almost the same net worth as the Terrorblade. They're both hovering around the 4.5k mark, where you got 4.2k for Sumail. It's a little bit behind. The 10-minute bounty rune contest gets to happen once again. EHOME, they should already get, okay, they're going to get all 4 bounty runes. That is huge for them. The ice path goes down, but already Tiny to the toss. A little bit of missed synergy, allowing now the hook shot to come forward from S4. He'll close the distance, and trying to deny to the Ancients will not be in time. S4's battery assault kills off Tiny.
Yeah, well executed, and that is something we should expect. Every time hooks off cooldown, S4 can look to find kills. It just simplifies the game state for EG.
Oh, a little bit off.
Arteezy's going to be the one passively farming. Sumail going to look to get a bit more involved, but also just worried about accelerating his own game. S4, he's just head on a swivel, constantly going to look for targets around the map, try and establish map dominance for EG. As you said, Faith Beyond having a good game. You can see what he's going for next. He recognizes, look, I had this super fast Vanguard Arcanes, but Force Staff is a necessity. That'll be what he grabs. And look, Leshrac as well, doing the exact same thing. You typically would see like a Yules first, but it's just so value to have a Force Staff in this game against Tusk and Clock.
Yeah, it's kind of funny considering the series we cast yesterday, where there was no counter to any kind of big control, especially against the Tuskers. But it's looking a lot better for itemization this game. EHOME do have a small advantage, about 1.5k in the gold, even though EG have the 500 in experience. So this game very, very close, and kind of what at least viewers would have been hoping for, depending which part of the world you're from.
Yeah, mid, they've got egg. Yeah, they're going to force TPs. So Fly tomed up, they're ready to go. Hooks off cooldown as well.
And he's looking for it, but already the attack in from Tiny. Tosses a Valve, throwing him back underneath the tower. Into the Pulse Nova. Not where S4 wanted to be. The Phoenix Sun does come out. They all got hit by the sprites, so they can't attack fast enough. Imprisonment from Sumail is actually going to at least buy time for Jakiro to walk away from this, but it will still not be enough. The shards are blocking up. Innocents can't walk out, but at least he can get the ice path down, so Fly will die in the back lines. This looked actually pretty clean at the start from EG, but it ended up being a 2-for-2 trade-off. But you do get Leshrac.
Not the best trade for EG. They wanted to probably have a bit of a better fight off that egg. They used a lot of big cooldowns there, all ultimates expended, but you know, Arteor is just farming top freely, and sure, you're just not afraid when the Darkseer is the hero on the enemy side that's the most farmed. It is a lot of space for Ego, who's been quiet for the last 10 minutes. He's just walking through the woods, farming stacks, trying to get those bots up, 700 gold away. But you got to be happy. EG, you know, trades benefit you. You're the team with the Terrorblade OD. You're going to get a point where you have BKB on both your course, and I look at the side of EHOME and think, well, how in the hell are you going to do any damage to either of these guys?
Like, Leshrac sustain kind of comes from the, Tinker being able to create space. Is that even the way I want to say that? And we were actually debating as well, like if this is one of those games where Tinker actually builds into an Aghanim Scepter, you get that missed chance to allow Leshrac.
Oh, he forced forward.
Survivability is, S4 now will phase boot away. Does show the 4-star of ASD.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Gonna
attack.
look to do something here. You have a Darkseer hasting himself forwards. They're looking for S4, but like he's got 4 heroes chasing him.
Avalanche will connect. He's got a hookshot available. They need to get in front of him, or else he'll just hookshot away to safety, or he can just cog on the high ground. But the back pulls him back down again. Now S4's cogs block him in, but the hookshot, exactly as we were saying. S4 goes up and away.
Hashtag
you knew it was going to be a hard fight.
Yeah. The thing is, even if you kill S4 there, there's no objective pressure. Like, mid is at your own tower. The top wave is now being taken out by ASD, but it's just a low EV move, because the best case scenario is you find 1 kill, but it's 4 heroes chasing him. That actually swings the gold back in EG's favor, because you've got 2 cores just hard farming as S4 leads them on a merry chase.
So PTs are up for Ego. Or the side lane pressure which EG's been having sounds to be a little bit more restricted. So how hard does EG want to push? Like, your Terrorblade's farming up, but you need to remove tier 1 towers to control more of the map. Because so far, no tier 1 towers gone down.
Look at Arteezy. He's farming in his own jungle with the meta pops. Like, he has no intention of leaving his side of the map for quite some time. And you're not pressured if you're EG. This is really just an easy game to script out. You just don't let EHOME crush through your buildings. Don't make the same mistake you did yesterday in Game 1 against Vici Gaming. Let your buddy die, all right? He respawns. This ain't life. It's Dota. And at some point, you get your BKBs, and you can look to take a big engagement around Roche, which another concern I have with EHOME is that they don't have that ability. You can't take Roche in this game unless 2 or 3 heroes minimum from EG are off the field.
Yeah. And you're even more right with the BKBs. This is one of these games where if you had the old Husker, you'd be a very happy man. So much magical damage coming in from EHOME that you start to wonder, like, how do they really hit hard once those BKBs arrive? Like
look at RTZ's farm. Like Sumail as well, they're accelerating fast. Like this is good if you're an EG fan, and they're going to take top tower uncontested, just continuing to mirror the movements of EHOME. They sniff out that, hey, they're going to be making this play on bottom, and we've seen this probably a few thousand times over the history of Dota.
A tier 1 for a tier 1 tower trade on opposite sides of the map.
Yep.
Both teams not looking for the fight, even though EG right now feels a lot more equipped to take it. The Clockwork and the Tusker with the double braces are so tanky, they can be on the front lines. Even Phoenix is approaching the double bracer.
Yeah, exactly, and you also don't really have much in the way of burst damage to kill this fly Phoenix before he gets that egg off, and then you don't have anyone that's gonna click the egg. Like, you got
no one to initiate. Like, you may have the burst damage from the Tinker from range, but without Tiny having that blink dagger, they can't even initiate forward. The push is continuing on top lane. Metamorphosis is down. But RTZ just sends his illusions forward. Keep the creep wave off. Tinker, he'll have to play from inside the tree line. There's multiple TPs coming in. RTZ now begins his back up as Faith Beyond will join the defense.
I love this though. If you watch, they not only have a ward on the shrine, but look at how Crit and S4 were playing this. They know as long as we maintain presence on this dire shrine, RTZ only has to fear the tower TP.
That invis, he can get the initial stun, turns on the Pulse Nova. Crit and S4 will tank it. The Dark Tier wall is down. Snowball save, in fact, moves them forward towards the Tinker, doing heavy damage. The Clockwork will hook away. Crit will die. Fly. A nice position on the other side of the river gave S4 that get out jail free card.
Yeah, well played. Nice communication from Tal there on the Phoenix, just ensuring that his buddy has that get out of jail free card. The second time we've seen S4 narrowly escape. And if you check it out, EG, they recognize what's going on. That was a BKB just completed by RTZ. We're at barely 17 minutes into the game, and you've already got a massive issue with this RTZ TB. Tiny on the pursuit though, don't think he'll catch Fly.
I just love the itemization from RTZ. Like, to go for a BKB and not the Manta style, to not just try and say, hey, this is a split push game.
And not just that, you can't interrupt BKB teleport either. There's no way to stop him from getting off teleport, Asunder. He's going to be able to save himself.
You don't have enough physical damage to kill him before the TP completes.
They may look to just give up mid tower, and they will. But, you know, RTZ shoving bottom, Sumail clearing the enemy jungle after pushing his creep wave all the way to that top EHOME tier 2. You're still cool with this, yeah? You know, it's an even game, but an even game is not how EHOME are looking to close this one out. You've got to get moving fast, and they're at a point where their draft will spike. There's bots up on Tinker. He just finished his blink. Tiny also has a blink.
Yep.
It's go time, and you could theoretically kill Artur before he pops that BKB, but you've got to be quick and you got to be careful. You are against double save on the side of EG, the Snowball and the Astral.
They're seeing Crit just twitching on the other side of the river. Double damage. Pick up, toss him back underneath the ice path. Snowball's down. They kind of got to stay in the ice path to get the stun, but it will not happen. Crit back in control. Support is nearby, but it will not be rendered. This is just EG doing as you said. Let him die.
Let him die. They're doing great so far. Crit not exactly having the performance we saw in his Earth Spirit yesterday, but this is a different kind of game. He's the space maker. He is a walking ward. He's just trying to ensure that his cores don't feel the pressure that he is tanking.
It's actually kind of like a fun build to watch in from ASD with a Latrak. So he's going in for a Bloodstone. That's some heavy regeneration. Once that Eclipse hits, he can get his life back again pretty quickly. S4 just walks out with a cog. He was looking for divine intervention because that's the only thing that would have saved him at that point.
That was a bit of an odd maneuver. Felt like he could pressure the Lesh, but you know there was a Force Staff available too. Didn't expect the +1 from the Tiny, but you know there was no one else showing on the map.
Probably thought he had Crit closer. Like Crit was nearby, but Crit's also still looking to farm up. He's actually building for a full pipe, so trying to negate a heavy amount of the damage from EHOME.
And EG do have to play a calculated game because you are up against a Tinker. He's always going to have an easier time ensuring lanes are shoved. And if you make a couple mistakes, all of a sudden EHOME is going to be off map and just pressuring your side without anyone needing to deal with this Terrorblade illusion spam, because you can just throw down one TP from Ego and suddenly the wave's going back towards EG side of the map, which is why I like this warding. You see 2 defensive wards on their own high grounds up in this top Radiant Shrine area that not only defends Roche, but like you can even see that you have a triangle actually around Roshan and the next objective they expect EHOME to go for.
I still wonder when someone's going to start to de-ward this Observer Ward from EG. It's not the first time we've seen them place it. Inside the dire jungle, they just see this deeper camp, and it's a consistent ward for them, but all 3 sentry wards that were planted down from EHOME do miss it. The bounty runes happen once again, and EHOME once again will claim all 4 bounties. This is the second time this has now happened for a team that's meant to have map control.
Artur got 1.
He got 1?
Yeah.
Okay, so 3. They got 3.
They probably could have been a bit more aggressive, but again, you don't know what's going on in the team comms. And if I'm EG, if I'm Bulba, I have looked at this draft and told my team, look guys, don't do anything really stupid, all right? We can do this.
They're checking Roshan. EHOME are worried about it. Leshrakt's pushing in the bottom lane in the meantime. He's going to TP towards the mid because Avalanche, he got the melee creep that was with clockwork. And EG are looking for the counter initiation. You know, EHOME don't want a bar of this. They just got the Bloodstone completed on the Leshrakt.
Yeah, this is a power spike for EHOME. You got to be careful if you're EG. You've got your ults up. You want to take a good fight here, but there's a Crimson Guard mech on the Darkseer.
Movement forward, hook shot in from S4, cleans up the line by putting the cogs down, but the 4 stars from EHOME allow the repositioning. Ego's getting the Master Machines down, the Ice Path and the Macro Pyre, not to mention the Darkseer wall. It's causing problems for Evil Jesus. They want to back up. The BKBs have been expended, and Jakiro is the only one to die, and he buys back, looking for the fight to continue. Here's your jump forward with the Thunder in from Martisi, combining with the Eclipse and Snowball. All of EG are taking the Uber try all the way to the tier 1 tower, killing off the Jakiro for another dieback. Tani down as well. Leshrakt's finding the back lines, but he's low on mana. Darkseer is pretty much out of it, so EG turn their attention to that mid tier 1 tower. Huge fight for EG. Massive Sunder for Arteezy. Oh, Leshrakt, are you really forcing this? Tinker Rockets are flying in. He's keeping the spam up, but no one's low enough to die.
And you can see EG, you got to be careful about these long engagements. When their BKBs are up, they have no fear. As they fade, you can see Faith Beyond Chasing gets a sick back off, and that's that tiny stun. It's one of the easiest spells to BKB because of that quarter-second delay before you're actually incapacitated. And Arteezy just like, casual. I have no more damage taken anymore. Gets the free Sunder off. You get tier 1 tower mid. Well executed, and that's what EG wants to do. Trade your BKBs and big cooldowns. Get some sort of established pressure on the map. Take the engagement, and then go back to your own side and farm up.
And Tynes could be pissed.
Yeah.
That fight would have been so different if the tossback came on S4.
And they use the Leshrakt Bloodstone cooldown as well, of course. Bear in mind the change and no longer sacrifice yourself. Yeah, it actually just heals you. But it does cost a ton of mana, which is why it's a strange item to see on Lesh nowadays, because if you use it too early in a fight, often you're going to run out of mana, especially if you do what ASD did, where he actually put that second point into his ultimate early on. I prefer to keep it level 1 for quite some time, because you end up having mana issues, especially, you know, you take a couple OD headshots from the orb, pop the Bloodstone, all of a sudden you've got maybe 3 spells to cast.
Maybe this is also the answer. Like, then again, Sumail, he's now going in for the Kaya. We're not seeing the amplification just yet, but it's the effect of this Andy's Eclipse. You get hit so hard from this, how's Leshrakt meant to stand on the front lines if he doesn't have that life? But of course now, how is he meant to do damage? A full pipe is completed on crit. The support, tanky as hell, and now going to help provide protection for all of EHOME.
And this is where I like what EG did. When they have the Phoenix, you have a Tusk. Both these heroes have GPM talents, and they both love utilizing items. So it doesn't matter that S4 is so far behind his enemy offlaner.
EHOME has to run. That's a double damage Terrorblade with a BKB Metamorphosis ready to rock. The DD is wearing off, and Faith Beyond's the only one giving the fight potential, but EHOME, they smoke up themselves. Tinker's nearby, his Kaya is ready, and maybe now.
Oh, EG.
There's the smoke break. They know they're up the hill. Ice Path, it doesn't do anything. The BKBs come up from EG way too quickly, and EHOME have to go on a full retreat. Double BKBs. This has to be more of a fight, but inside the Master Machine's not where they want to be. The Supernova is down, so Fly will be able to survive. He was low in life. He had no other choice but a big ultimate being dropped. The double BKBs down. They wanted to go for Roshan. EG may have to think twice about it. In fact, EHOME even smoke. They want to keep this going.
This is Tinker is powerful. He's got a Kaya. He went for the Spell Amp talent. He's going Ags next. This is the full DPS AoE Tinker build.
They're running top.
Arteezy's in
He's
trouble.
too far away. He doesn't have BKB available. He can't even TP out this if he wanted to. Up through the trees. The Tinker needs to keep the vision up. Sunder gives him the life. Oh, the damage! Ego's gonna die! Arteezy, he does have options. Support's coming in from Tusker. How long can he live through this? 17-1 charges, not long enough. Into the trees. The Pulse Nova will bring him down. So ASD finds the kill. Ice Path gonna miss. Same with the dual breath. So Crit will be able to walk off any kind of aggression.
Love the pipe from Crit as well. This time EG is going to collect 3 bounty runes. Suddenly they seem to be much stronger. I cannot believe our Torb actually found that kill on Ego. That's the big timing for EHOME, is that Ag Scepter on the Tinker. All of a sudden, 4 rockets, lasers bouncing through everyone.
It's like Ego didn't believe that Artur would come out of the tree line and try and run out that way, so he's just got caught flat-footed for a Tinker. That's death.
Hey, really good heads-up play by Artur. He was getting a lot of flack from the community yesterday, although they give that to pretty much everyone. And he recognizes laser on cooldown. You pop that to try and DPS me down. He finds the aggro Sunder and just chases to find the kill.
Bottom lane, the setup's there. Avalanche forward, S4 tossed up. They have the damage with the stun control, and they body block him out, so there's no hook shot available to get away to safety. The creep wave was coming in, but it still would have been a pretty hard one. So another good pick off from EHOME. Buys the space. The game is still in no one's favor. It's 1,000 gold and experience close together.
And EHOME, you can see the way they're itemizing and how they want to play this game. They already have 2 Force Staffs. You've got bots now on the Leshrac, a Blink on Faith Beyond. It's all about pace. They want to just sweep the map constantly. Tinker can deal with lanes. The other 4 heroes constantly looking for fights. Pop those BKBs from EG, work them down to 5 seconds, and then the amount of time they need to stall the engagements is going to decrease as this game continues.
Can someone deward this Observer Ward finally? Like, in Dire Jungle, they continuously replace it. Doesn't block the camps, but it watches when Tinker is farming up.
And I like this from Crit. Just, he has the pipe, S4 going for the Vlads into Blade Mail. Blade Mail, very effective against Tinker because it makes it
Crit.
It's hit or miss whether you can rearm into immediate blink if a Blade Mail target is standing in your Marcher machines, because you're constantly bombarded with those tiny ticks of damage.
True. Just liking the way Crit played that with a little bit of extra information. He walks down the river and not just straight down the lane and into the Dire vision. Able to avoid the EG gank. Avoid the EHOME gank.
Ayasha finished on Sumail, going for the Dragon Lance next, probably into a Hurricane Pike at some point.
S4. Rocket reveals the Tinker, but Tinker completed his TP out only just in time.
S4, and you can even see, look at Fly, he's doubled down. He bought a Midas. I think he finished that like post 20 minutes, but you just don't care, because if you're EG, you know, like, it's so much easier to kill a Tinker than it is for your enemy to kill your Terrorblade. Just the way this game functions. EHOME, you have a couple Force Staff, sure, but there's no hard save like an Astral, like a Snowball.
Yep.
And it's S4, like, you can't itemize against this. If he finds the Tinker, he's in trouble and isolated. That's the real target for EG. The Leshrac as well of ASD. Going to start dealing some heavy damage. Expect him to get that level 20 Pulse Nova damage talent. Already 3 points in his ult. He'll start doing 230 a tick once he skills that up. He's going to be going for BKB next. Butterfly finished on Artur, so he's just going to accelerate even faster. Roche eventually will become an objective here, but it's so difficult for either team to fight the enemy in the pit if they're grouped up in a choke point.
Yep. So
wait for a more considerable advantage, a numbers advantage specifically, if you're EG.
It's just side lane pressure. Tier 2 for Tier 2 tower. As far as trying to keep the Tinker on his toes, always that Clockwork rocket out. This is the primary reason why the Clockwork was the 5th pick from EG. They needed a catch against the Tinker. And how many times have we also seen this? Tiny sitting on the bottom lane, just mopping up the creep waves, always adding side lane pressure. Faith Beyond's taking care of the mid. And eventually EG will want to come high ground, but up against a Tinker, even like Tinker and Lightning, It's so difficult to do, and right now it's EHOME who's winning the tier 3 damage battle.
Yep. And you can see the difference in just concept. EG running more of a obviously a 2-core lineup, 2-3. EHOME with 3 cores and then a 4 and a very poor 5. Both supports of EG, thanks to the Midas, the GPM talents, they're going to scale. So sure, S4, like his net worth has been pretty static, but he's got his core items up. He has no problem with rich supports in a game like this. And it's more space for the Sumail and Arteezy dual core.
Oscar's been forced back, thanks to Observer and Sentry Ward up on the hillside. This tiny Shadow Blade will not going to catch up more, but the Observer and Sentry from Dire side will be able to see Terrorblade, but they want to find Clockwork. Toss him back in. Perfect ice path. There will be the problematic of that blade mail of Clockwork, but they just tank through it.
Yep.
And find the kill. A quick D-ward, but the Darkseer wall creates the illusions. Terrorblade wanting to walk away. He's got BKB available. The ice path's already connected to Terrorblade on the half-life. Remember that Sunder BKB. They need to burst him down, and now he'll BKB. Looking for a Sunder target. It's going to be the Darkseer. Faith Beyond. The support is moving in. Tinker TPing to the Shrine. These BKBs, they're wearing out quickly because they bought them so early. They're force-stopping forward. They still want the Terrorblade. No Sunder, no BKB. Tiny, toss him up in the air. The ice path won't connect, but maybe with Leshrac in the middle of the fight. Defensive imprisonment is doing the work, and Tusker could create space in the back line. He's got the space created and the shard block up. They will not want to force it any further. Tiny dies, and you manage to keep Arteezy alive on the whole of EHOME, chasing him to kill him. What objective they had?
That was a confident move by Arteezy. He pops the BKB and doesn't teleport out immediately as he could have. Instead, choosing to trust his teammate. Sumail coming through with the clutch Astral just before the left stun connected, and that's the issue. Once you're Astral defensively, and then the egg is on top, if you're EHOME, it's indefensible. You cannot continue trying to assault EG's backlines because they're just too powerful. The turnaround potential of a Tusk and a Clock catching you off guard, like
the double save.
Blink on OD ready.
Oh, hook shot's out, and you'll say goodbye to Innocence. TP the try's being cancelled.
I like this item from Sumail now. All of a sudden, he can find himself on top of whatever target S4 gives him, be that the Jakiro now, but later in this game.
Surging. Tiny forward. He's not underneath the sentry ward. They've got their own sentry. Now he is visible, and he jumps in. Double avalanche. They need a combination. The stun with the back with the BKBs from Sumail come off. He's got Eclipse available. He can just drop it on the heads to the north if he wants to find the kill, but he doesn't have vision to play with. Now his BKB will wear off. Defensive imprisonment. Is there a follow-up stun? Leshrac, presses it. The ice path. Sumail! He blinks away. Triple go into the snowball. That may be to make more space for the shot. He controls up 3 in the back lines. Another defensive imprisonment from Sumail. Triple finally go down to the Dagon of Tinker, but they're looking for it, but they're forced up in the Eclipse. Sumail is trying to style, but even he does not have enough style to get away from that EHOME lineup.
Overconfidence from EG. Meta's on cooldown. Arteezy had teleported out towards bottom. You do not want to be there. It's fine to lose Tusk, like we've said, but Sumail just a bit over-aggressive.
They're going again. Avalanche in. Arteezy, now the target in mid. They want him to burn this BKB again. He can send a life on Tiny, but it's not a lot of life. He gets back again. The ice path will miss this. Not to mention the split earth, but his BKB. He turns around, looking for the kill on Leshrac. Underneath the Supernova, he feels more confident. S4 as well, but they don't have a lot of life. The dump from the Supernova will connect over on the high ground, but with the avalanche behind the line, they still need to keep moving north. It's just not possible. EHOME, they're sliding all over EG, and EG is slippery as hell, all down into the grave. 5 heroes die, crit respawns quickly, but EHOME, they are getting the fights they've always dreamed of.
Yeah, Arteezy's gotta be spamming illusions towards mid. I understand you don't want to allow these lanes to head towards your structures, but like you've got 2 heroes dead. There's no reason EG should be taking that fight aggressively. Like, saving Arteezy is the goal. Even if he's got a BKB run away, so be it. It's already down to 6 seconds. Like,
Crib, he's walking in. He thought he can go for some shenanigans, but the Observer and Sentry is up. Tiny keeps him occupied as Roshan will go down, but you know support wants to jump over. In fact, it's going to be Crit starting up the unit counter initiation onto Tiny, giving Sumail some intel buff up. So Tiny will throw away his life to create the space for EHOME to get the Aegis to the Immortal. And that is in the hands of the Leshrac. A 20 Bloodstone charge now, Leshrac.
Yeah. It goes back to this concept that we've seen abused by many of the top teams in this tournament. which draft scales more to deal building damage. And that's what EHOME is working against. You're playing great. They're playing better than EG right now, but they don't have the ability to punish mistakes like EG does. If EG takes one fight and the Terrorblade's alive, Tinker's dead, that's a Rax, maybe even two. EHOME, you win this huge fight, you wipe your enemy, and you get just the Roshan. And even that was a little close because you got to back up immediately. You don't have the time anymore to look and establish any map control just because you don't have that raw physical damage, and nobody's going to be scaling to do that.
It's like all you really have is Edict. That's it. Like Diabolic Edict from the Leshrac, and you do have you have Tiny with Tree. They are pretty damn good at bringing down buildings. Crit under the Invis rune. Sentry Ward is there. They back him back in, and that is one very dead Tuskar. Dead for 50 seconds. EHOME with an Aegis Immortal behind them. Maybe they feel confident enough to force down some lanes. Go down mid. Actually use that Diabolic Edict.
The OD blink after Astral we just saw abused by Sumail there. I believe that was because the Ice Path had not formed yet. You have two ways on EHOME to prevent that. If they're like, I don't know how to explain, but like frame canceling stuns like Marana Arrow. If you spawn in the arrow, you're stunned. You cannot blink away. The same way it functions with Vacuum, if you just come out into it. And I believe Ice Path, although I know you can BKB coming down from a Yules into an Ice Path. I don't believe you can blink, but I imagine we'll probably see that interaction soon.
Just as an educational thread, everyone, how does Ice Path interact with every single stun that's available in the game?
And it's not like there's any rules for this, okay? Like, it's just Ice Frog. Like, hey, this is how it works. And he'll change it. It's just like, in Omni Slash you can TP out now. Yeah, that. It's just Dota, everyone. It's just Dota. In the words of Lacoste, can I get some frogs in chat? He loves that. Level 18 on the Phoenix now, so he's got that maxed out egg, and I don't think EHOME can reliably target it. I expect Fly to at some point. He's actually going for a Radiance. I mean, this man is wealthy. By pretty soon, S4 is going to find himself in the Zai location where he's just the cheapest player on his team.
Is EHOME really reading this? They got a Tinker Ward down. EG is preparing a gank
down. They pinged out Arteezy. They know he's not here.
The rock comes out, and they need to get the Avalanche through the tree lines. Clockwork should be okay. The tree toss will not be able to reach it, but underneath the Observer Ward, that as well. I guess S4 can have a very good vision of his own death.
EG's gem timing is going to be critical because right now they're consistently playing under wards placed by EHOME. You don't want to grab it too early because then you might potentially lose it, and then all of a sudden EHOME's massive lane shove and pickoff potential.
Doubling forward, looking for the kill on Arteezy, but Arteezy only have to walk a little bit further forward. Avalanche toss, something needs to save ASD. The Aegis Immortal will break. Arteezy still has his BKB as well as the Sunder. There's going to be a hard fight for EHOME to take, though inside the Darkseer wall and the Macropire. Maybe they have the damage. Perfect. Phoenix Sun is out. EHOME must retreat. Tuskar will fall. EHOME do get out of range of the Phoenix Sun, and you've got Leshrac on the run, banished up. He triggered the Bloodstone, so he already got his life back up again, but the Tinker, the laser hits, the Sun Ray will burn through. Leshrac goes down. Tiny will join him too. Fly is going to do so much work. He'll get the kill on Tiny in the back lines, while Jakiro dies in the front. Fly with a double kill.
That fight's not a favorable location for EHOME. You want to be around creep waves or structures. You have a Tinker on your side, and the nearest wave was a full 2 blinks of distance away before you could even start getting rockets off reliably. Like, just well played by EG. This is how they win fights. You can't kill Arteezy reliably anymore. He's got a Satanic.
You mentioned
2,500
right?
HP.
Like if EHOME really is the complexity of China, it's the mid-game run at you. They took the fight up on top. There was a ward inside the Radiant jungle, and that's why you saw Leshrac just TP to mid, Nova down the wave, and then jumped into the jungle. They wanted to kill off Arteezy. One kill isn't enough for them. They want to find more. As Fly, well, wants to stay alive as well. Ego begins his TP out. But Fly, you know that Radiance you were talking about? The Relic's coming out in the Courier.
Oh, look at mid lane.
And even look towards mid. Darkseer, BKB's available. He can survive through this. He'll BKB inside the cogs. Tinker needs to make the most out of this. Can he actually laser and buy some time? And no, the shards, Darkseer, Arteezy. He's uncertain if he wants to take the fight.
He was blocked out. The tree prevented him from actually entering the Ice Shard. May have been able to finish Faith Beyond. The Force wasn't on cooldown. But he does have Greaves, pretty tanky. And you look at this, all of a sudden EG is a 4K gold lead. It went from minus like 2K, 6K swing. They've cleared out the towers, and this is how you want to beat a Tinker. You keep him in his base. You remove his structures and his ability to play the map. And now, camping creep waves, you can find kills, and all of a sudden it's a lot scarier for Ego to venture out on the map alone.
Especially now you see OD with the Scythe available. You'll have the Hex. It's the amplification with the intel. That's 178 int on the OD, which all goes to buffing up the Eclipse. Thanks to the Tinker Observer Ward that's down. Arteezy knows exactly where Tiny's walking, but EHOME, they're running up behind. They want to be involved in this fight. The Lightning Storm will bounce through. He don't need the Tinker Ward. He'll bounce a little bit further up. He's out of vision. Just lay the rocket spam forward, and maybe they have enough control, but no! There goes your Eclipse. Faith Beyond's BKB will protect him so he can surge himself away underneath the Phoenix Sun, but on the other side, Clockwork dying to Lashrak. The blink forward from ASD gives him a double kill, but you know Samel once more. 28 intel stolen. He hit so hard. Make it 32. Eclipse, he'll have his way to jump back out to Ego. A quick blink. Faith Beyond. He's running back as Arteezy chases him as well. ASD will finally go down. That was a certainty.
Artur has done a great job thus far of avoiding the VAC wall. Even if you're BKB'd, you will spawn a wall illusion, and that solves a lot of EHOME's physical damage problems if all of a sudden they have a Terrorblade of their own, dealing almost 100% damage. You don't get certain item bonuses. But, man, like, this feels like just an easy game for EG, similar to Vici in their last series, where Vici Gaming just drafted themselves into a hole. They put themselves on a clock in that decisive Game 3, and even though, like, I don't even know if EG feels like they outplayed Vici. They were just in a position where they had a much cleaner draft, and it was far easier to execute. EHOME, they put themselves on a clock. They are up against the clock, and it's not working out too well.
I get that, but at the same time, I feel like EHOME's team fight, it still has a lot of bite to it. And their counter push that can come from inside the base is also quite good. So does EG continue to find these fights outside the base?
Not if EHOME stands as 4 heroes on their high ground, but it's possible. It all comes down to the gem timing. I think that's the next play here for EG. I expect to see someone grab that pretty soon and just start to limit the vision of EHOME. You can see Arteezy sending a TB illusion, hopefully to check those bottom bounties. I see them being pinged out, but I think that was EHOME. Somebody should go grab those.
Yeah,
you've got gold.
You've got Tinker with Refresher Blink. He can, like, when Tinker is inside your own base, you know there's issues.
Yeah, and that's the thing that's really changed about late game Dota. We don't typically see games go too long anymore. When you get to this stage, that bounty 122 gold. EG's advantage, like, they just went up so like 2,200 off those 4 bounties they collected. You don't really need to do anything. Like, look at it, from 5 to 10 in a couple of minutes, and a lot of it's just those bounties. A product of establishing map control, keeping EHOME in their base is you don't really need to do anything. Just keep grabbing the runes, kill the next Roche, and your advantage at some point is going to be insurmountable.
They're looking for a toss-back target. Tiny is trying to find one. Faith Beyond blinks forward, but this can definitely reveal the fact that Vision is on the hill. And they're pinging it out. We need a sentry ward to the front lines. And hey, look, Phoenix. I think he's got a little bit of cash, Kyle.
Just a little. I mean,
90 gold per minute plus the Hand of Midas.
And this is the key item. Look at what Sumail's got queued up. Refresher Shard, baby. This, I don't know what to do as EHOME's side. You have a BKB able to be completed on the Tinker. You already have one on Faith Beyond's Darkseer and the ASD Lashrak. It's just a concern that, like, double Hex, double BKB, you just can't mess with Sumail ever if he's got his cooldowns available.
EHOME stuck inside their base as well, so there's no way they can contest EG's Roshan. Like, they can smoke, they can search, but by the time they even get to the tier 2 tower position, Roshan is taken by evil geniuses. And in fact, they're smoking up and the line is drawn to go south. They want to go the bottom lane, mid as well as top. Has pushed out a little bit. A BT down from the Tinker. Clockwork, he reveals himself. He turns on the Blade Mail, so that's why there's no blink available. And OD also arrives. Tinker will just go down. Buybacks available. And I think EHOME were trying to bait with their Tinker, but now it turns into something else. Double TPs down to the shrine. They're in full retreat, EHOME.
And well played. That's all the Tinker Ward. I mean, S4, great positioning. He's not with his team. He's not roshing. He's actually playing as far from the pit as possible because that's the lane Tinker will feel the safest in.
Chikura macro pies the bottom lane. They won't have that deep push in the mid. 4-star forward, Tiny. He's got Shadow Blade available. They don't have any detection inside the base, but they don't want to have to buy back on Tinker. So Faith Beyond, he'll burn the wall to create a copy of the Terrorblade. Wants to try and keep it alive. Samel jumps in to try and get rid of it, but it won't happen.
You don't need EG, just go top. You know, the wall's down. This is the big damage. This is the only way EHOME gets physical damage.
No Macropire, no wall. Tinker still refusing to buy back. Fortification is up. ASD has returned to the lane. But looks like Evil Geniuses and will take this top lane of Rax.
Watch for Sumail to just get active. He's so threatening. There he is.
Buyback from the Tinker. Terrorblade, so much damage, so much lifesteal. Thanks to the Satanic Tinker will finally buy back. And Sumail, he's underneath the fountain. Drop the a triple kill on the back of 36 stolen int. Man, EHOME have to be, well, yeah. Get educated.
Tinker's dead. That was the Tinker buyback.
This is the game, really. Without Tinker, there's no way that EHOME can really defend their lane of their base.
What I said, one fight, one kill. Tinker's dead. Oh, well, easy win.
Just like Powerball, one fight can change it all for you. Even Refresher All being purchased up by Terrorblade. They got the Hex out. They damage onto Jakiro. Sumail hits like a truck, 40 stolen intelligence. They're trying to get the counter kill into him. Sumail is low, but he will be able to survive. And in fact, they go in even deeper. Sumail actually got the Sundered Life out from the Terrorblade, and that's who ASD is chasing down. He's forgotten the rest of his team. He's chasing after the Terrorblade, but it won't happen. Hook shot avoided. ASD, he's buying time, but I'm not quite certain time for what.
Look at where Sumail is. He's in the base, casually just hurricane fighting.
Just killing everybody.
Oh, he bought the Refresher.
Oh, yeah. He bought it. He actually bought it before he must have sold it and repurchased it with the Eclipse. He gets one more kill into Faith Beyond. Latrak is still battling as much as he can over towards the shrine to get some mana back so he can try and battle against Crypt, but won't. He'll blink down instead.
The Tinker's still dead for 37 seconds.
They can't take full megas. The tier 2 tower is alive on bottom. So they have a little bit of time. ASD will now just, with the bounty room pickup, he needs more creep before he can afford his sustain through the Octarine. Now we can get it.
Oh man, it feels like it was an EG game. Easy EG game. Nothing even changed. You know, Bulba is just like Ash going up against the Elite Four of China. You win this one, probably go up against LGD if they're able to beat Fnatic. And he's just like, you know, why would I change out my Pokemon? OD, Terrorblade, these work for me. I'm going to keep it going.
EG seems super effective. But EHOME, they are fighting. They are not giving up. Just like Ash, you keep losing a whole bunch of tournaments, but you still keep turning up. Hey, don't worry. It's the heart of the Pokemon. Wait, hang on, I'm getting crossover.
I mean, they definitely have the record for most top threes at an event for probably over the last half decade or so. Don't have just there's a lot of good Dota to be played. All right, even the ones that don't make the land still have a lot of talent.
Hey, they have the power to fight. ASD's finally having some sustain. They took a long time to try and even bring him down. Even then, EG failed. But because EG went for objective-based gaming.
Sumail was in the base.
Okay, yeah.
His Aegis popped 200 units from when he would have been in the Fountain's attack range.
They're smoking. They're coming for a fight. Looking for the opening. RTZ's up on top of the hill. Shards fly forward. Snowball. There goes your save from Crit. RTZ thinking about joining this fight. They've got the toss out. The Sunray's giving Crit so much more life. RTZ still waiting for the right time to initiate, but ASD pumping out so much damage. And Icarus dive forward under the BKB. Still no supernova just yet. And the 4-stops. Nice to get away from the shards. So EHOME. It's a little bit of chip damage. It was their initiation onto the support, but they still can't find the kill. Instead, they find Sumail, the Avalanche. He'll get the BKB off the Avalanche. He was never able to connect. Tiny hexed up for the moment. You know Sumail wants to get a little bit of intel. Okay, that's a little bit of an interesting Hurricane Pike, but now the orb, boom, 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 all flying down to the Tiny. Run home, however. RTZ is taking the tier 3 towers. So while this fight goes on, EHOME are being mega creeped by the Terrorblade. They have to try and cancel any TPs back. Faith Beyond's TP. It won't work either. Trying to BKB and surge away. He didn't want to have to use that one before. So Crit and Fly will stay on the back of his tail. But Arteezy's just going for the full
BKB
GG.
ready.
He is isolated, but he has Refresher Orb as well as the BKB. So here you go again. The double parallel wall. They need to try and bring him down. Avalanche toss. That's up to a support. His BKB is there. Not to mention the Sunder. He won't even have it. No one's got enough life for him to really steal it. They back him back in. Maybe actually he has to be pushed back. The range track isn't down just yet. The Tinker makes it difficult when the laser bounces through, giving that miss chance. The parallel walls of there. Another back is still on cooldown for the moment, but the range track is finally brought down. Leshrac wants to fight, but so does Sumail. Here comes your orb attacks into Leshrac. 12 down on the end, and Sumail gets smarter and smarter. 52 intelligence stolen, and he's got Eclipse up. You know he wants to nuke him.
This is going to be fun.
Ready?
Oh,
ready?
He's going to go
Ready? Hammer is in 3, 2, 1, boom! Goodbye, Faith Beyond. Goodbye, everybody else. The Nova's dropped as well. Sumail is as smart as they come. He'll end this game on 84-88 stolen intelligence against EHOME. It's a smart draft. They are meant to be geniuses. Evil.
I agree with that statement, Toby, but the script that EG followed to win this game is not that different from what they demonstrated yesterday. And EHOME came out.